Hey friends, welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mansa and today I am recreating a very popular recipe on this channel, which is my classic lemon vanilla pound cake. This is just a regular classic pound cake that I filmed about 2 years ago, and it is just time to update the recipe. So without wasting much of your time, let's get into it. Alright, so over here I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour already sifted, and to that I am adding a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm using salt because I am using unsalted butter. Now we're also going to go ahead and use a teaspoon of baking soda. Now if you're using salted butter, you can go ahead and either omit the salt in this recipe or cut down on it. So I am using unsalted butter, that's why I went in with the salt. So just mix that together with a whisk and set it aside. Those are dry ingredients. So now we're going to go ahead on to mixing this pound cake. As usual, I'm going to be using my stand mixer right here with a paddle attachment already on there. Now here I have 2 sticks of unsalted butter and half a cup of butter flavor shortening. If you don't have any butter flavor shortening handy, just go ahead and use 3 sticks of butter. That's the equivalent of it. Make sure that they are at room temperature, that way it is just easier to mix this. Now we're going to start off by creaming fat. So this is the butter and the shortening. And also I'm going to be using a block of cream cheese. So that's 8 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature as well. So in goes my cream cheese. I almost forgot it. That's why. So yeah, you want to cream your cream cheese and your butter and the shortening together. This took about a few minutes, and now I'm going to go ahead with my sugar. So typically the pound cake calls for 3 cups of sugar, but I cut mine down a little bit because it's overly sweet in my opinion. So I do 2.5 cups of just regular granulated white sugar. Now I bump up my speed and beat this up until it's light and foamy. You want to beat this really good until it's well incorporated. I'll make sure that I stop somewhere in between to scrape down my beaters and also the sides of my bowl, as you can see. And then I go ahead and beat it some more until it's nice and fluffy. Now it is time to add our eggs. I kind of turned down my speed once more, and I'm going in with 5 eggs in total, but I put in 1 at a time and give it about a few seconds interval, I would say, just to let it incorporate before I go in. This just makes mixing easier, and that way you're not overworking all of your ingredients, just dumping everything and just, mixing so rigorously. So that's the whole point of that. So yeah, 1 at a time until I get to the very last egg, which is this one right here. And then yeah, I just go ahead and mix everything. Also remember to stop and scrape down the sides. As you can see, I still have some egg yolks on the side. So yeah, just scrape down everything and then continue beating on low speed. Now we're going to be alternating between our flour mixture and our heavy cream. I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream at room temperature right here. I'm also going to be using some lemon extract because we're building up some lemon flavor, and of course I'm also going to do vanilla extract. I use a teaspoon of each of those. I just go ahead and add it here at this point because it's just easier, and just give it a little mix, and that's about it. So we're going to be alternating between the wet and the dry ingredients at this point. So as you can see, I am just going in, putting in about 1/3 of my flour mixture, and then beat it on low speed. Then once that is incorporated for a few seconds, and I go ahead with some, like about 1/3 of the wet ingredients. So super simple, super easy. That's all we're going to be doing, alternating it until we get to the very end, when we finish all our ingredients. This is so important for this recipe because a pound cake can be so delicate because it's so dense and just, so full of fat. So you want to be super careful when you're doing it, and you're going to get the best results actually. This recipe right here, tried and trusted, loved by many. You can enjoy it with or without a glaze. Today I'm going to be doing without a glaze, but like I said, feel free to do you, and just be creative with it. So now I have mixed everything together, and also this is the point where you want to go ahead and add in the zest of 1 lemon. I lost the footage for that, but I did add it, and all you want to do is just gently go in and fold it in. You don't want to go with a mixer, you don't want to go with a whisk, just fold it in with a spatula. And now it is time to bake. Now I have here my bundt pan, and this is about a 14 or 16 cup bundt pan. Now I'm going in with my pan cooking spray, which already contains flour. So I'm just gonna go ahead with my silicone brush and just going through all those nooks and crannies just to make sure that you get that oil into all those crevices. That way a cake is gonna come out wholesome and so pretty. So yeah, go ahead and dump in all of the batter. Now by this time I have already preheated my oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I typically bake my pound cakes at a lower temperature just because they take so long and they're so big. But when I do that, I bump up the time as well. So you know how we do with pop it, drop it. We're just trying to release excess air bubbles. It is not as dense as your typical pound cake, and that's totally fine. So we're going to be baking today into our oven 325 degrees for 75 to 80 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. So mine took exactly 80 minutes at 325, and look at that crust. It is so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous golden brown crust. So now you want to let it sit undisturbed and cool down all the way to room temperature. Typically when I want to serve this, I make this the day before, because I just find that when my pound cake sits overnight and all those fats settle, it's just way better in my opinion. Whoever, if you guys also have that opinion, let me know in the comment section below. It is way better the next day. And so this is my cake. Can you see how pretty it came out? It is absolutely perfect. So of course I'm gonna go in and cut it, and y'all, I cut some big old slices, okay? I cut some big old slices. And this cake is perfect for sharing because it makes a big, heavy cake. Can we look at it? Look at that texture on the inside. It has a bomb texture that melts in your mouth. And that crumb, the crust is everything. It is brown. It is delicious. It is flavorful. This you can take to the office potluck. You could make for Sunday dinner. You could make for any occasion. I typically would have this for every holiday. And if my friends request for it, because my friends like it a whole lot, so I would just bake it and send it over to them. So this is what it looks like, final product. Like I said, you can enjoy this with or without a glaze. Today, typically, I don't know, fun fact about Mansa, I actually do not like glaze and frosting. I prefer my cake plain like this. I enjoy it more with like a cup of coffee or something. So yeah, but you could definitely make a simple glaze or a frosting and go with it. Can you see how that is? Really beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye y'all.